I don't know what's wrong with my Wi-Fi. I'm here to do a live chat about the Handmaid's Tale. It was suggested by one of my subscribers. I can't remember who it was, but I'm going to put it down in the link below. And I am quite nervous to actually do this show. I want to take time out to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there and to anyone who has mothered anybody's children, whether you've been a godmother, a wonderful aunt, a cherished friend to anyone's child. You are absolutely in the spirit of mothering. And so we say thank you to you. I am so nervous to do this show. I don't know why, but I just am. And so y'all gonna have to bear with me. Again, we are right now in season 2 of The Handmaid's Tale. And this is something that a show that my daughter got me hooked on the last season 1, and we just kind of marathoned it, and I absolutely fell in love with the show. And so when someone suggested it, I was like, oh, I just don't know if I'm the person to do this. It's has so much, there's so much richness to it and everything that I just don't know. I don't know if I'm the person. But we're going to go ahead on and try to review it. I had asked the question, polled it on my Facebook page, Cozy Cousins Corner, to see if anybody had been looking at this show. And quite a few people, believe it or not, have been looking at this show. And some people have said that they are absolutely obsessed with the show. And so am I. So right now, again, like I said, we're in season 2, episode 4. And so what I'll be doing is I'll be loading up individual videos relating to that. But I wanted to make sure that for all of my nieces and nephews who are not really caught up on the show, that you get the opportunity to get kind of a review of what The Handmaid's Tale is about. If you are a first time subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. To all of my nieces and nephews, thank you so much for your continued support. And if you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe. Comment down below. If you don't want to subscribe, it's no pressure. But if you do subscribe, guess what? It doesn't cost you a thing. Don't forget that when you come into the room, to hit that thumbs up button. That lets me know that you're here. And it also lets YouTube know that you visited my channel. And that's very important right now for many of us YouTubers, because there's so many changes and things that are happening on YouTube, and so it's very important that you hit that thumbs up button so that YouTube knows that you all value small YouTubers. So anyway, we're going to go ahead on and get into this review, catch up, live call in of The Handmaid's Tale. Again, for all of you all who have been with me for a long time, I be cussing and hooping and hollering and going all off and stuff like that. And this is just different for me because of the seriousness of this particular subject matter. So anyway, let's go ahead on and get to it. I'm going to be reading quite a bit of it because there's some things about the show that I don't know. I want to make sure that I am as accurate as possible as we talk about this. Again, this is The Handmaid's Tale. It is a drama based on a book written by Margaret Atwood. And the book was written, I believe, in 1985. The stars of the show, this is a book put to film, and it is on Hulu. And so it's not like on your regular cable stations. You have to have a subscription to Hulu in order to watch The Handmaid's Tale. The star is Elizabeth Moss and Joseph Fiennes and Yvonne Starsky, Alex Bledel, Madeline Brewer, Ann Dow, O.T. Fagnell, Max Minghella, Samaria Wiley, and Amanda Brugel. The executive producer is Bruce Miller. And so I'm going to go on and give you just a little bit of The Handmaid's Tale. Again, like I said, I'm going to be reading a lot of it and interjecting in and giving my thoughts about it. Yes, I am in a different room. Hi, Latasha. Hi, sweetie. I'm going to be giving a little bit of, my thoughts in between this as we go through everything. But I really want to explain to, hi, Josie, I see you with your wrench. Hi, sweetie. So, The Handmaid's Tale is an America dystopian drama web television series based on the 1985 novel by Margaret Atwood. It premiered on April 26th of 2017, and the subsequent 7 episodes aired right after that. It has won Emmy Awards, 13 nominations, including Outstanding Drama Series, and becoming the first series on the streaming platform to win an Emmy for Outstanding Series. I'm telling y'all, this is such a good thing. And so we're going to go through basically the plot. We're going to go through other things that I think that you all will find interesting about this particular show. So, in the near future, fertility rates collapse as a result of sexually transmitted diseases and environmental pollutions. So, when you first start off this particular show, you kind of see the main character, who is June, and June and her husband, who is an African American man, and their baby are running from the police. And so we see them, in a car, and we see them snatch him up. And she's saying, don't hurt my baby. And they end up, basically shooting the husband. And we believe at that particular time that he is, dead, or at least going to die from his wounds. We see them capture June, and we see them capture the baby. And at this point, we really don't understand what is happening with this particular show, whether or not they want the baby or whether or not they want the mom. So the book is written on the premise that all of this is happening in the future. And we see that all these women who are infertile, and they are believing that the women are infertile because of, again, sexual diseases and pollution. Now, years ago, we heard Al Gore talk about, yeah, it was talk about the planet and about global warming and stuff like this. So presumably, these were things that they were being warned about on television and stuff like that. And people turn a blind eye, just like they have with global warming. But I tell you what, there's got to be really something that is going on with global warming, in my opinion, because the weather is so unpredictable. You have spring in the winter and winter in the spring. And with this chaos, the Totalitarians, Christian theocratic government of Gilead. Now, all of this is supposed to be in this place called Gilead. So what they did was they overtook the government, the U.S. government as we know it, and there was a coup, and all of these people, because this is supposed to be based in the United States of America, and all of these people are basically now under this new rule and this new place that is called Gilead. And Gilead establishes rule in the former United States in the aftermath of a civil war. Society is organized by power-hungry, hierarchical regimen, and they created this society class in which women are brutally subjugated and by law are not allowed to work, own property, handle money, or read. So we see in the beginning season, they show us flashbacks of women. So, basically you and I, or some of you out there, we are working women, and we go to work, we have bank accounts, all of that kind of stuff, where they were going to work and they were finding out that, they couldn't get into their bank accounts, their jobs were gone. It was just a lot of stuff that was going on. And so, it's like now, if I wasn't able to get into my bank account, then I would not be able to, function. I wouldn't be able to do anything, like nothing. And so basically, these women, these everyday women and men, are having to basically live under this new regimen in which women don't work, they don't do anything, and they're separated by these social classes. And in these different social classes, they all wear these different colors. And they go on later on to tell you what the colors are about, and I'm going to tell you that too. So basically, June is married to, her husband. She was in an affair with this particular man while he was still married to his wife. We found that out in season 2, so I'm giving that's a spoiler. June is, having an affair with him. They end up marrying one another. And, she wants to, have a baby with him. And, we see her having to have her husband sign off on a sheet of paper, allowing her to go to the pharmacy to pick up a prescription for birth control pills. Now, where the hell they do that at in this new world? In this new world that is up and coming under this new regimen, men control everything. Women are just objects to be used by men in any way that a man deems necessary. I mean, if he just want to screw her, he can just screw her. If he wants her to be a slave to him all day long and just cook and clean and all of that kind of stuff, that's what the woman is supposed to do. So, again, women don't own property. They can't handle money or read. Worldwide infertility has resulted in the conscription of the few remaining fertile women in Gilead called handmaids. So if you are a fertile woman and have been proven to have a baby, and they're not talking about having received an egg or anything, they mean that you are the one who actually had the baby. You are considered a handmaid. And according to an extremist interpretation of a biblical account, they are assigned, these handmaids, these women who have had babies and have proved that they are fertile, are assigned to homes of the ruling elite where they must submit to ritualized rape by their male masters in order to become pregnant and bear children for those men and their wives. So you have these men and their wives, these, I don't know how the women get picked, but they're with these men, and the men are called commanders. And they are infertile women. And they wear green. And they have these handmaids who are women who were, again, like I said, everyday women like us, who have had children, and they are now considered handmaids. And so the only thing that their job is to have sex, not sex, get raped by these men, and have babies for their families. Alongside the red-clad handmaids, much of society is now grouped into classes that dictate their freedoms and their duties. Now, these women are being held against their will. When they first came from just being regular United States citizens, absolutely, Zena, but I'm telling you, it's so cotton freaking good and so cotton freaking morbid all at the same time. This is a must-see on Hulu. Even if you got to do a $5.99, $9.99 subscription, you have got to watch this show. So, these handmaids, when they first get there, you're a regular functioning everyday woman. So on Wednesdays. And so you have to be tortured into submission. And so these women they come into this camp, and they have this older woman. Oh my gosh, she's a hardtail mess. And this older woman basically tortures them into being submissive, tortures them into how to take care of these women and how to have these babies and just how to be submitted. And you have the eyes on you, you have armed guards everywhere you go. You have these guards on you, so you basically are afraid. They have seen women be tortured, hung, um, everything. I mean, like, these women and these men have, like, they're absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And they do everything under a Christian, the eyes of God are watching. I'm telling y'all, y'all have got to watch this show. So the women are divided into a small range of social categories, each one signified by a similarly styled plain dress in a specific color. Handmaids wear red. Marthas, okay, who are housekeepers and cook, they wear green. And wives who are expected to run their households wear blue. Echo wives, the lower class women who still have minimum agency, are sort of a mixture of these categories, and they wear gray. A departure from the book. Okay. Another class of women are aunts. Aunts are the one who train the handmaids. They wear brown. Additionally, the eyes are secret police watching over the general population for signs of rebellion. Hunters track down people attempting to flee the country, and Jezebels are prostitutes and secret brothels catering to the elite ruling class. June Osborne, who was renamed Offord, is the handmaiden assigned to the home of the Gilead and Commander Fred Waterford. Joseph and his wife Serena Joy. Now, Serena Joy was one of those activist women who, basically campaigned for this stuff to happen. And she was one of those authors. She had written books and everything about the infertility and what they needed to do. So she was the one that came up. Stop bashing. Who's bashing? Okay, everything all right out there? Okay. So Alfred is subject to strict rules and constant scrutiny. An improper word or deed on her part can lead to a brutal punishment. Alfred, who is named after her male master like a handmaid's, can remember the time before when she was married and had a daughter, a job, a bank account. But all she can safely do now is follow the rules of Gilead in hopes that she can someday live free again and be reunited with her daughter. The Waterfords play key players in the rise of Gilead, have their own conflicts with the realities of society, and do whatever. Um, Let me tell you something. Okay, so now they're going down here and they're going to describe who these people are, but what I want you to do is just kind of look at the show in order to get that. So, let's see. I'm trying to get this information for y'all, and I don't want to give y'all a whole bunch of stuff that's not going to be good for y'all. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically go off script, and I'm going to tell you about this life in Gilead. So again, like I said, everybody is in classes of people, and you are handmaiden. These women act in the green who are married to these commanders. They believe they have these rituals that they have with the women, like once a week, once a month, whatever, whenever she's ovulating. And the husband goes in and he prays. He goes through this ritual, and they take the Bible and they screw it all up, and they make make it seem like, this is God's will, and they quote all these, crazy scriptures. Awanda is just a reality show. Season 2 just started. Hello, oh, happy Mother's Day. Hey, Awanda. Haven't heard from you in a long time. Hey, welcome back. And so, basically, the ladies in the green sit on the bed. The ladies in the red, who are the handmaidens, are to lay between her legs. The husband reads his scriptures in another room, and then he comes in. He undresses himself. The wife and the husband have eye contact with them while the maid is laying down at the bottom in between this woman's legs, and he rapes her and has sex with her, hoping that she will be pregnant. It is the most wicked crap you have ever seen in your life. And the maid is just laying there, and they're just, and the wife is just sitting there like this. And she's holding the handmaid's hand like this. And his job is to basically get her pregnant, because they have no children. And so they're hoping that these handmaidens, who have already proved that they could do, I couldn't do it either, Bertha, who have proved that they can have children. So I'm going to break that down just a little bit more. Let me break down a little bit more so that you all understand this, because when I come out here and start doing my reviews, you're going to be lost if I don't give you some of this background. Just 1 second, y'all. Okay. Hulu. It's on Hulu. So Joseph Finney's is a commander. His name is Fred Waterford. He's a high-ranking government official, and he's June's master. Both he and his wife played an instrumental role in Gilead's founding. He wishes to have more contact with June outside what is lawful between a handmaid and her master, and starts inviting her to play nightly games of Scrabble, and he gives her magazines. Now, mind you, these women are not to read, they're not to play games, they're not to do anything. The only thing that they're supposed to do is eat, go and shop occasionally, come back, because when you go out, you have to go out in twos. It has to be two handmaidens together. They wear these bonnets on their head, as you can see from the thumbnail, and they're under a strict regimen, okay? Yvonne is Serena. She's Joy Waterford. She's Fred's wife and a former conservative cultural activist. She appears to have accepted her new role in a society that she helped create. She is poised and deeply religious, but capable of great cruelty, and is often callous to June. She is desperate to become a mother. And then we have Alex. Okay, Alex or Emily. She's off Stephen, because you're named after your master. She's June's shopping partner, okay? Okay. It's very popular. It's very popular. Although June is initially wary of her, it is revealed Offglen is not as pious as she seems, and the two become friends. Madeline Brewster is off Warren. She's a handmaiden who entered the Red Center for training at the same time as June, and considers June a friend due to her kind treatment. So, you got all these different people. So the first first one was called Alfred, okay? Alfred is a family is pursued by a group of armed men, which is them. The woman is caught and separated from her young daughter and her husband as shots are fired in the distance. She is known as Alfred, the handmaid of Commander Fred Waterford. While walking with another handmaid in Ofgin, she and Ofgin passed by a wall in which men have been hanged for crimes such as being gay, working in an abortion clinic, or being a Catholic priest. So if you were a Catholic priest, if you gay, if you did abortions or anything like that, then you were hung. And they had these different centers and different buildings where they would hang these men. And you would walk up and down the street and you would just see men, hundreds of men, being hung on nooses and being killed because they were in one of these three categories. It was either you did it or you died. I mean, either you went with Gilead with this particular um cultural way of life, or you didn't. Thank you, Natural Beauty. I'm glad I'm trying to catch everybody up, and it's so hard for me to do this, but I am getting through it because I am determined to get my nieces and nephews up to snuff on this so that when I start doing my review on season 2, they know what the hell is halfway going on. In a flashback, various women are indoctrinated into their homemade roles by Aunt Lydia. Now, Aunt Lydia is the beast. She's the one that will beat you. They taser you. They do all kinds of stuff to you if you don't go with the punches. Like, you have to do what they tell you to do or you're going to die. Can you imagine being a woman? Like, I'm a woman. I'm a seasoned woman. I probably would be a Martha, or they probably would have had to kill me because I don't know if I would have been able to get, to become a part of the society. And the woman who wrote this book believes that, and thank you so much, the woman who wrote this book believes that the culture, our current culture, the way that it is right now, is a fertile, very fertile ground for something like this to happen. That the United States is basically going into a dictatorship. It is not democracy as we knew it. She believes that it is currently right now in this society not for the people, by the people. That there are a few people who are basically, running this country and telling all the rest of us what to do while we all sleep. Yesterday I was looking at Facebook and looking at a couple of other sites, and I got really, really depressed. I got depressed because of all the things that have been going on in our society, and it just seems like, as African American people in particular, that we are going so backwards. Racism, as we all know, has been alive and in living color. In some ways, it has been masked, but now because of social media and because of different platforms and videotapes and cell phones, racism is being captured like never before. I watched a video of this white woman who was basically harassing these African American people in a park in California because she said that they were using charcoal grill in a part of the park where they couldn't. This woman stayed there, called the police and stayed there and harassed them for 2 hours until another white woman came up. And thank you so much for the super chat. I'm so nervous and stuff, and usually I'm not, but I am. She harassed them, and when a white woman came up, she was very mean, she was aggressive, she was all this. And then when she got the police on the phone, she just turned into this mushy woman, and I'm scared. And, things like that really bother me because, every day we have an opportunity as African Americans to get our asses kicked. And it bothered me yesterday. And I'm thinking, what is our world coming to? And then when you look at a show like this and you listen to the author, we could very easily be going backwards. And it just feels like, as a society, that we are. And racism is alive, and it is real, and it is, oh my God. So I wanted to say it, Aunt Lydia is just, she makes me confused emotionally. Yes, Natural Beauty. I wanted to say this show is really powerful. It have given me a better understanding of the issues and struggles many women may have to face in our modern day society. Absolutely. Sandra G said, Auntie Lydia is a fantastic character, so complex. Tamala Williams said, this show definitely makes you think about our society. Absolutely, it does. Lola Garcia, I'm so nervous because I got so much information that I'm trying to crunch into a little short period of time. Um, and so, in a flashback, various women are indoctrinated into the handmaid's role by Aunt Lydia, and Alfred notices Mariah, a woman who she knew in college. Handmaid Janie taunts Aunt Lydia and is shocked with a cattle prod. Can you believe that? She is shocked with a cattle prod. Later, her right eye is removed as punishment. See, so you here it is. You're trying to say something. You want to say something. You're used to being an independent woman. You're used to being able to, have certain liberties where you could talk, not fake news, but where you could talk. You had amendments, you had rights and all this kind of stuff. And here it is, this woman is bold, she's outspoken, and she loses her damn eye. And so, as the women begin to see other women being abused, they end up falling into the system because it's like, I don't want to get my ass whooped. I don't want to lose my eye. Like they light them on fire. They stone them to death. Any handmaiden who is basically killed or punished to death is stoned by the other handmaidens. And so, you see all of this torture that is going on. You know how you used to live because these are middle-aged young women in their childbearing years who are, being, forced to conform to this new way of life. When you see all these other women, who are infertile, but they have married up, I guess. And so, they have these, these husbands, and it's just, I'm telling y'all, it's such a good show, but it's such a bad show in a way too. But I could easily see us, oh my God, like, that's why I'm so nervous with y'all. I feel like, I can't wait for the review of the first episode of season 2. I almost cried. I read that Auntie and all the neighbors came out in support of her with the charcoal barbecues too. That was ridiculous. Yes, they did. There are women around the world that experience unimaginable oppression if they don't follow the rules. That's so true. Thank you, Atlanta B. She says, hi, Auntie. I'm so happy you're talking about this show. She should explain the hierarchy within the women. I did. Um, so Commander Waterford tries to impregnate Alfred during the ceremony as she lies in the lap of his wife, Serena Joy. The next day, the handmaidens are encouraged to beat a man to death after Lydia announces he raped a pregnant handmaid. Janie tells Alfred that her friend Moira is dead. On the way home, Alfglin tells Alfred that she had a wife and a son and warns her there is an eye in the Waterford house. Alfred affirms to herself that her true name is June and that she intends to survive to find her daughter. Now, eyes are people who are strategically placed inside of the home as maybe a butler, a driver, or whatever. It's a man. And what they do is they watch the handmaid to see whether or not she's going to rebel against the system or she's not. There's the one that is in Alfred's home is named Nick. Nick is watching her like, okay, there's nothing she can do. I'm going to get into what Nick is all about in a little bit, but Nick is the eye for the house. He was a regular old guy. He needed a job. The man offered him a job because, he was an immigrant. And he offered him a job. And because he didn't have a job and he needed to take care of himself and his family, he became an eye. Different people take different jobs and occupations and do different things, by any means necessary. We're going to take care of ourselves. It's self-preservation. It's family preservation. There's many reasons why we do things that they did that because the handmaids were fertile but looked down upon because they look at medical records, right? Natural Beauty says, I love me some Nick. Let me tell you something, Natural Beauty. I'm trying not to go to season 2, but I am a little leery about Nick. Like, I don't know what's up with Nick. I don't know whether or not the relationship between the two of them came together as something that Serena put together. I don't know why I do. But let me tell you why I believe that. Because when they discovered that June was pregnant, Serena went to her husband immediately and was like, "Bitch, it's not your baby." How did she know that that was not his baby? How did she know? Now, she knew and suspected that her husband had been taking her to these brothels with all these whores, and he was part of the underworld, which all the men were, and the women couldn't say anything about it. So her husband, she knew. Remember, she had a handmaid that was there before Alfred was there, and Alfred was the new the new girl on the block. And this girl had been scraping in the walls and all of that kind of stuff, leaving little subliminal messages. And when Alfred got into the house and began to get abused by Serena, she could relate to the messages that the previous handmaid had left in the closet. And so I'm wondering whether or not Nick, I know that people like Nick, and I'm trying to like Nick. I swear I'm trying to like Nick. But the reason why I don't really feel so much for Nick is because I believe that he's a plant. I believe he's not only an eye, but that he was also a plant. And even with him trying to help Alfred get out of there, I think that at one point maybe he decided he wanted to change his mind about what he had done, but the damage was already done. So he was trying to, I guess, in his words and in his way, look out for his own baby. But there's just something about Nick that I don't trust fully. I think that Nick was part of a bigger master plan. She knew that her husband had been sleeping with Alfred all these months. She knew that Alfred was basically fertile, and she could not understand why she wasn't getting pregnant. The previous handmaid hadn't gotten gotten pregnant either. So I really don't know whether or not I'm with him. I want to be with him, but I swear I just can't. Okay, so somebody asked me a question. Auntie, how do you feel about June being with Nick? Like having an emotional, intimate connection while her husband is still alive? Well, but the thing about it is she didn't really know her husband was still alive. She's in a place where she's hopeless. She is taking on the roles of an Adam. She is not having sex with Nick because she feels connected or is in love with him. She is having sex with him to feel normal and to relieve anxiety and stress and all of that. I don't believe that there's one stitch. No, Bertha can't. I don't believe that. Yeah, she absolutely a wonder. She needs a distraction. And so, because these women are so enslaved and everything about them is controlled, this is one part of her. This is her way of rebelling against the system by using her body to sexually please herself. When actually it's not the sexual pleasure that she wants. It's just wanting to feel like she's in control of her own body, and also to relieve a lot of stress that she is going through internally in the inside. It's a bit of her taking back control and power over her own life. She knew that Nick, it's almost like, wanting to know, like for a man, going out and having, being married to someone and then going out and having an affair just to prove that, he still got it. And for her, she is all covered up. She looks like a nun in a red suit. She basically has, the scarlet colors on her. And so for Nick, she's showing Nick, I'm attractive. He falls for it and she has sex with him. But I don't believe that it is the kind of sexual intimacy that we all have. It's just her way of rebelling against the system and doing something that she should not be doing. And you know what? The thing about it is, even in season 2, when we see her, trapped in that building, or not trapped in that building, but basically in a building because, she done got away, or she thinks that she has gotten away. And we see when she has sex with Nick there, it's not intimate sex. It's sex to relieve the stress, sex to do the forbidden, sex. She's not supposed to enjoy that because here it is. You're going and you're being sexually molested by somebody every cotton freaking month, every month. Every time you ovulate, every time they're checking to see whether or not through the they're checking to see whether or not you're having a menstrual cycle. They're checking for everything. So everything about us that makes us women, everything about us that makes us women, is now being controlled and dictated by someone else. Their vaginas are factories. Their vaginas are not something that they can use in order to have sexual pleasures or anything like that. And so when he comes into the warehouse, where she has been, they hit her and everything, and she has sex with him, like she wears that, she wore Nick down because the stress, the anxiety, all of those things that were on her, she had to get that off. And the way that she got that off and the way that she communicated that was through having sex with Nick. It was not about intimacy. It wasn't about any of that. It was totally about just the freedom. And he and the handmaid is shipped off to the next home to repeat the cycle all over again. Absolutely. So on season 1, episode 2 was called Birthday, and Alfred and Olga go shopping and they reveal more personal information about themselves to each other. While they're walking, they see St. Paul Catholic Church, their local church, being destroyed by the new regiment. Ofglen tells Alfred that the regiment also bulldozed St. Patrick's Cathedral in Manhattan to try to erase the fact that it ever existed. So all of these things that, all these churches and stuff like that, all that stuff is gone. Even though they're using biblical principles to enslave people. St. Patrick's, when Alfred asks how Ofglen knows this information, she reveals that she is part of a resistance movement against the government, but Alfred declines to join it at first. Commander Waterforce driver Nick tells Alfred that the commander wants to see her alone later that night, and which is forbidden, and warns her that Ofglen is dangerous. He warns her that Ofglen is dangerous because the bitch is a snitch. You understand what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, in the regular world, snitches get stitches. But he's an eye. So that's his job, is to, go back and tell, everything he's supposed to tell. So he tells her that she's dangerous. And she absolutely is dangerous. The commander wants to see her, so blah, blah, blah. So Alfred and her handmaids visit a home to witness the birth of Off Warren, Janie's child, named Angela by the Putmans, but Charlotte by Off Warren. In flashbacks, June, Alfred remembers the birth of her daughter and Luke's daughter, Hannah. But at that time, healthy births were already rare. So basically, it's 2018. Women, are not having healthy births. When they are having children, some of them are disformed and all of that kind of stuff. And so, so basically, this is their way of saying, hey, this is our way of fixing this situation. Yes, the birthing ritual is absolutely crazy because you have all of these handmaids in red, and when they have when they find out that one of the handmaids is pregnant, they have a big ritual where Aunt Lydia goes to the tower and she rings the bell, ding, ling, ling, and that lets everybody know that somebody is pregnant. Absolutely, Wanda, it is ridiculous. So the bill lets somebody knows that they're pregnant, but all of the accolades, the baby showers, the rituals, and all of that stuff happen to the women who are wearing the green, not the women in the red. They show up, they pick them up in vans, and they go to the house. They have a baby shower, and the other maids just sit around and they watch, and the woman, the handmaid who's pregnant has to sit in the chair and watch everything go on. And the mother, basically the woman, in the green, she's being showered with all of these gifts, and they're talking about, I can't wait for the baby to come. And they act as if this woman is physically pregnant, and she's not. But in their sick, warped minds, they believe that, these low-life women, basically are nothing but a birthing canal for them. And then, when a woman is in labor, all of the women in red are with this woman who's having a baby. And they're around the bed and they're praying and they're chanting and she's having a baby. And then in the next room in the same house, all the women in green are with this woman and she is pretending to have a baby. She is pretending to be in labor. She is pretending everything, and like she's seriously pushing and pulling a baby out of her non-existent fertile womb. Let me tell you something. When you look at the ritual for the very first time, you're going to be like, what the entire freak? And you're going to say, oh my God, I need Auntie to come back out here and break this damn thing down season by season, episode by episode. And I promise you, I will be breaking down season 2, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and episode 4. Wednesday will be episode 5. Let me tell y'all. It's crazy, the stuff that you're going to see. If you're a homosexual woman, if you're a lesbian, if you are any of that, you go to the place called the Unwomen. And the Unwomen go into a toxic dump. And all they do is dig ditches, dig dirt all day. They have to put 10 bags of dirt together a day. That's how they eat. Their skin is falling off of them. They are diseased. It is a place where you basically slowly go to die. Just slowly go to die. Absolutely it was. Oh, the Forever Dion, there's no such thing as trans women, trans anything. There's no such thing as lesbian. There's no such thing as gay. There's no such thing as bisexual. There's no such thing. That doesn't exist. And I'm telling you, people really believe that this can happen in this day and age. And that's why it is so important as people that we don't have preconceived notions and judgments of other people. You never know when you're going to be on the chopping block. Here these are regular people, regular everyday people who believe that they have certain rights according to the Constitution. But if the Constitution goes out, then what? And there's some of us who live under this Constitution right now, and we still don't have the rights as others. We don't have the rights. So if you don't fight for somebody else's rights, you might be one of those individuals who loses your own. We can no longer stand back and watch things just happen in our society and in our nature and say because it doesn't directly affect me, then I don't want to have anything to do with it. There was a coup. There were people in the back door who decided that they were going to make these decisions for other people. And guess what, y'all? I'm telling you right now, there is a possibility that someone could make that decision for you in your life. You've got to stand up for equal rights for everybody. Everybody deserves to have the rights under the same rights under this U.S. Constitution. And so when you look at someone who comes out and says, if you report something about me or you say something about me, then it is fake. It is alternative facts. How many things can be alternative facts? The things that you see with your eyes, are they alternative facts? Get the fuck out of here. Excuse my language on a Sunday. Slowly, slowly, while we sleep, while we eat, while we drink coffee, while we eat lunch and we brunch. Slowly but surely, rights are being taken from everyday people. Every day. And we see it and we go on to the next crisis. And we see it and we go on to the next crisis. Don't you believe that in a world, if this was a world, that these things happen very slowly behind corners and underneath tables? Yes, that's how they went on. That's how they happened. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to cut this off, unfortunately, because what I want to do is kind of upload season 2, episode 1 review, episode 2 review, episode 3, and episode 4. I am going to actually try to get all of those done because I just want to do a real quick synopsis about what I see and what I thought about it. Episode 4, I just finished watching, so it's kind of still fresh in my memory, so it may be a little bit detailed more than the other ones. But to all of my viewers who are out there, I really want you all to look at this show on Hulu, The Handmaid's Tale. It is such a good show. Now, if you all would like for me to open up the phone lines, I will absolutely do that. If you feel like you have something that you want to talk about as it relates to The Handmaid's Tale. And if not, I'm going to go ahead on and get off and are you enjoying watching it? I am enjoying watching it. Yes, I am. I mean, it's gruesome and it's gross. But yes, I am. I mean, it's the kind of show that makes you really think. And it brings you to a different awareness of what could happen. Margaret Atwood is one of Canada's most famous living authors. I read this book years ago and it led me to read more of her books. Haven't watched the show, but I will find it. Love it. That was from Gwen K. Hi, Gwen. Lola Garcia said, love it. I highly recommend this show. Be prepared. It's very deep. Wanda says, Auntie, I want to know how you feel about June Alfred's real husband. He is just in Canada chilling. I think that he didn't have any choice. I don't know. I think that he was all for himself. This man was full of crap from the time that she met him. He was already married to his wife. And for him to treat his wife like that meant that, he just, to me, had no morals, no scruples. You end a relationship before you get into another one. And, when the wife went down to the building to confront Alfred about it, June about it, June didn't give a rat's ass either. And so it just basically showed the heart of both of them. He made it alive. I think that he does have feelings for June and for his wife, but are not enough feelings to go out there and try to look for them or risk his own life for them. And you know what, to be honest with you, I don't know if I would either. And so it's hard for me to judge him about that, because if I knew that the United States was a country that I would have to live in bondage and in slavery, and I had a boo thing, I don't know, because as a mom, I don't know, because as a mom, I would lose my life for my daughter. And so I don't know. But yes, do I believe he's in Canada chilling? Absolutely. Do I believe that he loved June? No, I think that June was someone who was a newer model than his wife. Do I believe he loved his child? Yes. Do I believe he would sacrifice his own life for him? No, that's obvious. He's saying that, these people are on his list, and that he made it out of the United States into Canada. And Canada, of course, we all know it's a safe haven for people who were able to get out. I don't know what I feel about him right now, about Luke. I just believe that he's about self-preservation and he's preserving himself. I think that later on, probably in season 2, this season, will, a little bit more will be developed. His character will be developed a little bit more. Um, Season 1, as we know, was basically written, produced, um, according to the book, and right now Hulu is off book. And so his character was not developed in the original Handmaid's Tale, and I do believe that they will develop more about this particular character, because we did at least get to see that he was just a crummy type of guy to have an affair on his wife the way that he did. I mean, but I think that June, when we saw in season 4 that June, because you making me go ahead of myself, Wanda. When we saw in season 4, episode 4, that June kind of got herself together. She got herself together because she felt guilt. She felt guilt about her girlfriend, one of her former handmaids passing away, as a result of her influencing her. She was responsible for Adam dying, and for his wife losing her son and being a handmaid. She felt responsible for all of those things. And as a result of that, it made her think about how she had been selfish with Luke when Luke's wife came to her and asked her to stop having an affair with her husband. And now we see her, basically in this one track mind, and saying, I'm going to be obedient to this, and June is dead, and Alfred is now the person who is living, because Aunt Lydia like drilled that into her head. And so, I don't know. But I know that you asked me some more questions. I can see you. I wanted to say, and his ex-wife was a beautiful black woman. I was conflicted because I like June, but it is a little sticky. It is. Natural Beauty says she was responsible for the handmaids being burnt by the stove. Absolutely, she was. She was also responsible for Off Glen going into, even though Off Glen, kind of lost her damn wanting to be a lesbian. She was responsible for a whole lot of she was responsible for a lot of people, and they were too, because Off Glen was already in the movement anyway. But when you already a rebel, and then you get that other rebel with you, and they like a ride or die rebel right alongside you. But it's like, okay. That handmaid who got burned was a part of the resistance, and she pulled June Alfred in when Off Glen drove that car. Oh my God. Oh my God. Was that something? Like, I was like, what the foolishness. So let me ask you all a question. If you want to, I can open up the phone lines and you can call in and have your say. Um, and maybe share something to your other brothers and sisters, cousins out here who don't know what this show is about. Bertha Jackson says she is a little lost. You probably gonna be a lot lost. Because it's a lot of information. I think what I am going to do, I'd asked, polled it on my YouTube channel. I think that what I'm going to do um, is go all the way back and come on now, open up. I think I'm going to go all the way back and I'm going to start the reviews from there. Josie said, don't worry about it. I'm lost too. Um, so if you want to call in and you want to have your say, I want to know more about Aunt Lydia. So let me ask you a question. You know, you all can put this down here as a 1. Um, if you all would like me to go all the way back to season 1, to bring you all up to snuff, type a 1 in. If you would like me to bring you up to snuff with Handmaid's Tale, put a 1 in. Okay, so that's Josie, Miss Michelle, Awanda, okay, Gwen. Okay, good, Forever Dion. Okay, so it's enough of you all for me to go back. I'm going to go all the way back to season 1, and I am going to do the reviews. So that you all can get into this show. You know, we got 90 Day Fiance. Ah, yes. We have 90 Day Fiance, but I have absolutely dropped some other shows. So I have an opportunity to go back and do it. And you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do for you all. So instead of me opening up the phone lines and y'all be all confused, I will open up the phone lines when we come and we talk and do our live chat and nightcap on this. Our Sundays will be dedicated to 90 Day Fiance starting next week. And so that's going to be great. But I won't open up the phone lines because a lot of you all will not even know what to even begin to say. But again, like I said, Hulu, $5.99, $9.99. I think it's $11.99 without commercials. The commercials are only 90 minutes. Don't pay for Hulu. Well, I would not suggest that you pay for Hulu without commercials. But I'm telling you, this is a good show. And it is worth it. And so I will come back. Next time you see my face, I will be doing a review on The Handmaid's Tale. Season 1, Episode 1, Offered. I love you all so much. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Thank you all so much for being with your auntie, because I was nervous and I'm still nervous. I don't know why I'm so nervous, but I am really nervous about doing a review on this show, but I'm so optimistic and I'm so excited to be doing it. And I'm so glad it's so many of you all who are interested. And I wanted to thank you so much for being back, Sweetie and Natural Beauty and everybody else. Thank you so much, Josie, for moderating tonight. I appreciate you. Love you, Miss Michelle and everybody else. Y'all have a wonderful week on purpose, and you will be seeing my reviews. Love y'all.